Hello and welcome to round two. We're going to go over a few bookkeeping things first before we start round two. And one of the things that I wanted to mention from the last video is this archery unit over here. They originally had taken a pin for the basalt geysers. There was a special rule for the Gnolls that says, let me see here. There's a special rule here for the Gnolls that says that I use that for this scenario is that um, the first failed order test. I'm sorry, it says there was a token here for this one. I took it off. No time to bleed. First, because they lost um, the first scenario, they have Pursuer's Fury, and no time to bleed says first pin their warband receives is ignored. So that would have been the first pin that they received, um, and that archery unit there. They removed that pin, so they don't have a pin. They do not have a pin. So, and I also took that token off, obviously, from that. Now they also have driven the charge. First failed order test may be rerolled. They can still use that. They still have that. The other thing was the knights. They used their on the first turn. They had two activations in their first turn, and now we're starting turn two. Now, but they also get +1 morale for their commander. They get +1 to their command for the first 3 turns. And over here we have a token, as you could see, for Earl Guilford, and we are going to remove that token as we start turn two, and we're going to put that one away, of course, and then we are going to put another token here to show they're using the second one. We also have a couple of narrative events that we need to do at the start of turn two as well. And we're going to do that now. Starting round two, we have a narrative event we have to roll for. And we'll roll that now. And I've got a new tower to use for that. And we roll D6 to see what the new narrative event is. And it's going to be a 1. So number 1 is Ash Drift Collapse. Okay, so the narrative event, the following do not involve fire, flame, or smoke. They represent ash, steam, tremors, or magical anomalies coming from the White Plume Mountain and affecting the region. And 1 indicates that it's an ash drift collapse. A patch of ash crust gives way. 1 non-mounted unit chosen at random must pass an agility test or be slowed. Movement is half this turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll to see if it's going to be the knights or if it's going to be the Gnolls. We're going to do 2 dice. We're going to do 1 for the Gnolls, red for the Gnolls, and blue for the knights. Whoever rolls highest is not affected. Okay, it's going to be the Gnolls, or the knights rolled higher, so it's going to be one of the Gnoll units. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 Gnoll units. We'll go over here real quick. Just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 units. So we're going to roll and see which unit, and we're just going to go. We're going to go starting with the Gnoll tracker. We're going to go. We're going to go from here and go around. So there'll be number 1, and of course the trebuchet, the catapult will be number 10. So D10, 2. Okay, it's going to be Immor the Desecrator. Immor is going to be slowed. He has been victimized by the ash drift collapse. One non-mounted unit chosen at random must pass an agility test or be slowed. His agility is a 5, so he has to roll a 5 or under. 5 or under for Immor. Let's see what we got going here. Immor's down here. We're at the roll 5 or under for Immor. A 1. He's fine. So he's not slowed. He's okay. Immor is not going to be affected by the ash drift collapse. Okay, also on a bookkeeping note, we also have honor points. Now, the way I use honor points, in the first scenario, the knights earned honor points to be used based on what they did in combat and how they conducted themselves, right, with honor and dignity. So they got honor points for those things. Now, they get them in the first round, but they can use them in the second round. And in the second round, they can build up on these and use them in the last round, and they get various benefits for that. So we'll be using some honor points, I think, in this scenario here. The knights are going to have a tough go of it. I think it's going to depend upon, from what I'm seeing, it's going to be who draws the first dice is really going to make a big difference. Who draws and takes action first. So let me set this down here. Get a good look at the table. I'm going to go around and pick up the order dice right now. And then we are going to move into round 2. Let's do this. A lot of the knights took they took pins. Well, they took more than the Gnolls did for moving around in the ash wastes. Of course, we have that the special role, the environment role, the ash drift hazard. At the start of each player's turn, choose one unit in the ash wastes. You have to be in the ash wastes again, not on the road or up on here. It has to be on the map proper, here, that sort of thing. But you roll d6, on the one the ground shifts beneath them, they gain a pin. And that affected the knights more than it affected the gnolls in this particular case. So it's a dangerous place. White Plume Mountain is. Of course, these steam vents block line of sight as well. So and then there's also anybody who starts their turn next to these vents. There's a chance that it's going to erupt and cause a big problem for them. So that includes the knights. Everybody around these ash vents. You don't really want to be standing next to them when they go off. Okay, I think that's all the dice. Very good. And now we go to C. Shake these up real good. So yeah, there's a special rule called the geyser fields. And in the geyser field, it says any unit within 3 inches of a geyser vent must test agility to run or charge. So they have to test their agility to run or charge. Once again, the special rule for the environment is the basalt ridges. Standing atop these volcanic outcrops grants +1 to shooting rules, unless firing downward at adjacent units, and rough ground to ascend or descend. They have to make an agility test to get up there. That's pretty much it for that. So, for the environment rules. And of course, starting on turn 2, the next turn, we're also got the rule in the narrative events for the related to the steam bursts, the ash drift collapses, and Charybdis' echo, or the White Plume Mountain's echo. So we're going to go in here. The Gnolls, uh-oh. So let's take a look. Who is, well, it's pretty obvious to me. The Gnolls are going to go first. And let's take a look, see here what we got as far as these gnolls. Let's see. I think we're going to hold off on the archer unit on top of the basalt ridge over there. And we're going to go. We're going to kick it off with Thud, Thog, and Thag. They see the knights coming. They're going to run. So they're going to move 10. I don't think that's going to get them within charge range though, but they're going to go up and they're going to go stand and block the knights from. It won't be enough for a charge, but they're going to block them off that objective, that center objective. The control of the the crossroads is a key objective. So we're going to move Thud, Thog, and Thack. We'll put that die right here to show. Give me a little bit of help here. So go Thud, Thog, and Thack. And they're just going to block the knights. They're just coming around. They're going to block these knights from that objective. They took a run order, and that's that. They're not playing. They're not playing. They see old Guilford. They're like, you're not doing what you did last time. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to come after us. So, next die. Is knights. Well, I guess we set that up pretty good. Guess what's going to happen? We're going to give Guilford a run order. We're going to give them a run order. And then we're going to see here, they're going to charge the ogres. And we're going to take a quick look at if any benefits can come from using honor points. So let's see what they can use. They can spend honor points for your army. The knights can spend honor points at key moments to reflect divine favor, knightly resolve, or battlefield inspiration. Only 1 point per unit per round can be used and cannot be used to re-roll, and after a successful order is given. So they have to successfully, well, they're going to actually, they have no pins, so their order is going to go through. So we can re-roll a failed morale check. The knight unit gains +1 fight for a single melee round. That costs 2 honor points. Automatically pass a single order check. For 3, they can perform heroic intervention. Any knight or character within 12 inches may immediately move 6 inches toward a friendly unit engaged in melee. For 3 points. And for 4 points, they can have the Valor of the Knights of the Holy Shielding. All friendly units within 6 inches of the leader remove 1 pin and gain 1 morale for the turn. Okay, so what we're going to do this time, we're going to be using, we're going to use 200 points and give them +1 fight for the turn. So we're going to use, this is going to show, we're going to take 200 points off. We're going to take 200 points off. 1, 2. And they are going to get +1 fight for the turn on these ogres as they charge in. And this is to show that they also have used their honor point for the turn. So we're going to use that little token there to show that. So let's go to the dice tray, see how this pans out. Well, we'll move them up first. So we're going to run, and they're plowing into these ogres. They're like, they say, okay, all right, you want to go there? We'll go there. Earl and his 2 sons, they rush up. and let's get it on. They charge with their lances right in. Remember, they can only in my game, you can use lances once in the first round of combat, or the first occurrence of combat, because the lances either broke or they have to be replenished, and that doesn't happen until um, the next fight with a different unit. Okay, so let's go to the dice tray and see what we got. I'm going to put that over here. Oh yeah, they have to make a rule. I forgot the Ash hazard for them guys. At the start of each player's turn, choose a unit in the Ash Waste difficult terrain. Uh, roll d6 on a 1. The ground shifts beneath them, and the unit gains a pin. So I got to roll a 1. Decide. All right, 6. They're fine. They don't. The ash, the ash, all around them doesn't affect their movement. Doesn't affect the unit, the knights in any way. All right, let's go to the cards here. We have, once again, we'll go to Mounted Lord Knight, Sir Guilford, Sir Goslin, the Viscount, Sir Nodfrey, the Honorable, Sir Ulick, and Sir York of Walworth. And Sir Ulick is, of course, from Greyhawk. So, in the die pool, let's turn this over this way so you can see. We'll do this. Okay. So we're going to have, Sir Guilford has 3 hand-to-hand. So this is going to be Sir Guilford. Then we're going to have 4 knights. 4 knights. And we have 5 war horses. Okay. And we'll count this up. We have Sir Guilford, Lord Knight, the Earl of Reynold. He is tough 2, fast 8. So they could have moved 16, but they weren't going to get there because the ogres moved up. They have war horses. They're wearing heavy armor, which makes them heavily laden. But because they have war horses, they're not. That eliminates the heavily laden. They're zealous, which means they can ignore pins when taking a break test. He has command, which means he can give orders to other units around him. He has follow. They have command and follow. Follows the one where he can give other orders. Command means that units near him can use his command rating instead. And he has a sword and lance. And the knights, of course, are fast 8, warhorse, heavy armor, heavily laden, zealous. They have a sword and lance, and the war horses are just one hand. So now we'll roll up. Earl Guilford is using his lance. Now, what the lances give, they have a strike value of 3 on a charge, and we don't use the strike value until that's against their armor. So let's roll these up. Let's roll up everything, and then we'll sort through it all. And they're going to be strength 6. They have to roll 6 or unders for the knights. The war horses have to roll 5 or under. All right. Let's get this going here. Okay. Earl Guilford missed here. He missed here. He hit once with the lance. We have the 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have, for the war horses, we have a miss. We have this was a 9. That's going to be a miss. That's definitely a miss. That's a miss. So 1 war horse trampled on the foot of one of them, and the knights are 6 or under. That's going to be that's good. That's good. And these are going to be 2 misses. So not that great. Okay, so now looking at the ogres, they have resist 8s. They have to roll 8 or under. And oh, that's right. Hold on a second. We have to double check that because they're +1 to. So instead of hitting on 6s, they actually hit for the knights. They actually hit on 7 or under. So I have to go back and double check that. 1 second. Okay, so the knights they want to run. They're going to take the run order, but they're within 3 inches of a geyser field, right? And one of our uh, special rules is they're actually in by 2, but any unit within 3 inches of a geyser event must test agility to run or charge. So let's take a look at let's take a look here at the knights. The knights are going to have to roll they have agility 4, so they have to roll 4 or under in order to run or charge, but they may be able to just make a normal move because they can move 8. But they got to roll under a 4 to run. They do. They make it with a 3. So the knights avoiding the geyser blasting off in their faces. They charge up. They are going to use an honor point. They're going to use 2 honor points to give them +1 fight. So let's do this first. Let's give them their run order. Then we're going to give them. We're going to give them. We're going to use 2 honor points. I take off and dump into the tray. We're going to give them this is to denote that they used honor points for this turn. So the knights are charging in onto the ogres. So they're going to get a +1 fight for their honor point. They're going to do a +1 fight for their charge. So they're looking at. They're usually strength 6. They're going to be strength 7 and strength 8. They're going to be you're going to be looking at their 6s with they're normally 5. They get +1 for the sword, which makes them 6. +1 for the charge gives them 7, and +1 for the honor point gives them 8. So they have to roll 8 or under in the tray. Let's take a look over here. We need 8 or under. Let's just move this over here so that we can see a little bit better. It's for me too when I scrub die rolls. So we got 8 or under. We got 3 hand to hand for Earl Guilford. We have 4 knights, and we have 5 war horses. And they're all going to get these bonuses 3, 4, 5. So we're looking at, let's roll it up and then we'll sort it out. Let's roll this up and we'll sort it all out. Let's see how many hits. Now the ogres aren't tough. I was surprised. They're not tough. So 3 hits will take them out. They're large. They're 2 hand to hand. They roll 2 dice each. They have frenzied charge and they're vengeful, which is unaffected right now. But and their frenzied charge only gives them +1 to charge if they charge. So let's take a look. Let's roll up for the knights first and get this out of the way. Okay, so this is going to be a clear miss. That's a 10. That's out. Guilford hit twice with 1s. He did very, very well. We're looking for 8s and under. That's going to be a knight miss. That's going to be a knight miss. There's going to be 3 knights that hit here. And our horses they're normally a 5. They get +1 for the honor point, gives them 6. And then +1 for the charge makes them 7. So we're looking for 7s or under. That's a miss. That's a miss. And so that's the total hits on the ogres by the knights. Now the ogres, they have a, let's roll up, let's just roll the dice and then we'll sort it out and then we'll go through the additions and subtractions. So we know who the knights are on the horses, so we're good on that. All right. So the horses, they did really well. So the horses, their resistance is an 8. So they missed that. But against the knights, it's a whole different story. Their resistance is now a 8, 7, 6, 5 because of lances. So they have to roll 5 or under. So 2 of the knights hit and 2 of Guilford's hit. So for a total of 4 hits. And 4 hits will take them out. That will wipe them up. Not before, though, they get the fight back. So the ogres are going to get their chance. So that's going to be 4 hits. So let's just mark that with 4 pin markers for now to show that the ogres took 4 hits, which is going to be enough to wipe them out. And I'll have to double check that to see if they get the fight back or not. Let me find out. I'm pretty sure they do. So I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, so we don't remove casualties until after both sides have fought. You add 1 pin to each unit for every casualty, of course, we know this. Suffered during the hand-to-hand. So that's it. It's going to be 4 casualties on the ogres. They can only take 3, so that's a big deal. But they get to fight back. So each ogre gets 2 hand-to-hand. So we'll denote that with 3 different dice. The ogres don't get any. They do get, the only thing they get is a strike value of 2 with their axes. So they do get a strike value of 2 with their axes. Let's go back here and take a look and see what they roll. So we're looking at, they are strength 5. They're all strength 5. 5s are under. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're 5s and under. These 2 miss. Now the knights are resist 9. Okay, they're resist 9. But Thog and Thag have huge axes. Well, they look like they have clubs, but they have huge axes. Their strike value 2. So that takes them down, needing, the knights need, instead of a 9 or under, they need a 7 or under. So let's see what happens here. That's a sign. Looks like we have 4 hits. So let's do the assignment the way they say to do it in the book. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. We're going to give, so there's 4 and I have 5 knights. So we're going to give 1 to Earl Guilford, smack dab in the middle, Guilford. We're going to give 2 to his sons, and then let's do a random roll for the last one. If it's even, it'll be Marshall Ulick from Greyhawk. Even as Marshall Ulick from Greyhawk, odds is going to be Sir York of Walworth. So evens and odds. Let's see. Okay, odd. It's going to be Walworth. So we're going to give the last one over here to Sir York. And what we're going to do is we'll roll for each one. So we're going to do we'll do Sir Nodfree first. He's going to need a, like I said, 9 or 8. He has resist 9. He's going to need a 7 or under. He's good. Okay, so he makes it. Earl Guilford, 7 or under. A 9, he fails it. However, he's tough too. He can re-roll that. 7 or under. All right, he makes it. Then we're going to do his first son, Sir Goslin, 7 or under. Uh-oh, and he can't re-roll it. Guess what? He's in trouble. And then we have Sir York of Walworth, 7 or under. And that's a 5. He's good. All right. So it looks like Goslin's son is going to fall casualty. However, we lost one knight. And we can't do anything with honor points for them. Can't do nothing with honor points. So it looks like we're going to lose one knight. Unfortunately, they're going to take a pin for that. And then we're going to lose, oh boy, we're going to lose all 3 of the ogres. They're gone. The ogre unit's gone. So we're going to put them over here in the casualties area with their dice. Guilford's firstborn he's out. He's out. Oh no, he lost us. Guilford's angry. Well, maybe he may come back. We have to roll on the casualty chart. But what they're going to do is they're going to consolidate with that, and they're going to move up and take control of this center objective here. That's what they're going to do. They're consolidated. Earl Guilford going to let the lay people take care of his son who's fallen. Leave him there just to show that he's down. Unfortunately. And that's that. That'll take care of that combat. And then we are going to move into drawing the next die. So, next up, Gnolls. Well, that's not going to be this is a no-brainer. So if you look up here, and on top of that basalt monolith, way over here, way over yonder, the Gnolls look down and go, huh, look at those targets. And they are exactly the closest Gnoll to that unit is, I think they're outside of 10 inches. Yes, they're outside of 10. So they're not within short range. So we're going to give them, they're going to take a fire order. They're going to get +1 for being up top. They're going to be +1 for being on the basalt monolith, and they're not known for being accurate shooters to begin with. So let's take a look here. Gnoll archery unit, they're looking at accuracy 4, but now they're accuracy 5, 6. So that's pretty good being up top. They also are armed with swords. However, yeah, they are outside of short range. So that's considered long range. They're just an inch out. So um, they're armed with normal bows. Yeah, anything over 10 inches, like 1 to 10, and then 10 to 20 is considered long range. So long range is going to take away one of those bonuses. So let's go over here to the die tray. Well, I might be able to squeeze it in here. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Gnoll archers. We'll give them red dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 Gnoll archers. And they are, like I said, they're going to be accuracy 4, 5 for being for taking the fire order, not moving for shooting. They didn't move and shoot, so they're going to be 4, 5, and then they're going to get another +1 for being on top of the basalt monolith, gives them 6. But because they're long range, that's going to take them back down to a 5. So you need 5s or better on Earl Guilford's unit here. A little bit of an arrow storm coming down. Oh my, they hit with 5s or under. They hit with 4. They're going to have to defend for 4. So Earl Guilford's unit, they have resistance of 9. They didn't charge, so they don't get to re-roll these hits. So like normally if an archer unit shoots at a running or a sprinting unit, they have to re-roll their hits. That's not what happened. They advanced after a combat. So they're going to have to roll 9s or under. Let's see what they get here. And they're all good. So all the arrows missed, 9 or under. Earl Guilford's pulled it off. He got lucky there. Definitely got lucky taking those shots there. And then we're going to go to. Oh yeah, I forgot to roll. I got to roll d6 for the Gnoll units since they have to see if they get on a 1. Oh no, they're up on a basalt metal. They're up on a basalt. Yeah, I think. Let me double check the environment roll. Oh, it's for a unit in the ash wastes, so I still got to roll and assign it anything. No, they're fine. We don't have to worry about that. So nobody takes a pin for being out in the ash waste. Anybody out there, every time we start, of course, like once again, anybody who's not on that road or on a basalt monolith, they're subject to getting a pin from the shifting ash from the White Plume Mountain. All right, let's go to the bag and see what we got up next. Gnolls again. Well, let's take a look here what we got here. The Gnolls are very aggressive. This is their survival. So let's take a look at. Let's see. Let's see what we can do here. We got. I think we're going to charge with this Gnoll unit here. I think this Gnoll unit will charge up on Sir Cratch's unit. Now, let me see if they're within 3 inches of that geyser, because they're going to have to take a sprint order to get there. Probably. Maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, they'll have to sprint to get there, not with a run. And they are within, they're outside of 3 inches, so they're not going to have to do it. So they're going to do a run order, but they're going to, oh, look out. They're going to sprint, charge in the battle. So they're going to have to make an agility test. They're going to sprint for 15 into that unit. Let's do their agility test first. Let me get my tray out here. So we're looking at the gnoll. I think it's the gnoll guard. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's the gnoll guard. So they have agility. They have agility of 5. So let's roll that and see. You have to roll 5 or under and take a pin. Oh, they have a pin. So before they even make that, they have to make a test at 7 or under to even take that order. They go down. So let's see if they can do that. They have 1 pin from shifting sand, from the shifting ash. They're going to roll, instead of a command of, they have a command of 8 with the Gnoll Packmaster. So now they are going to be a 7. They have to roll under 7. A 1, no problem. Yes, so they can take that order. But now they have to make an agility test to see if they can make it. So their agility is a 5. See, they'll make it, but then you see if they take pins. They have to roll 5 or under. A 6, they take another pin. Okay, so the Gnolls take another pin. They sort of, it's representing exhaustion for them. They're going to take another pin, so I'll put that here. And they 5, 10, 15 is going to bring that unit up into contact with these knights easily. And the Gnoll guard unit charges in before they get the opportunity to charge. Now they're all within the geyser, so yeah, this will be, they're like hemmed in here. This is like crazy for the knights. And everybody fights. They all pile in, took a run order. Sir Cratch's units on the horseback go, what is going on? The Gnoll guard unit, we are going to put our dice tray here so we can all see. All right, and so the Gnoll guard unit is strength 6 normally. They get +1 to charge, so they're now strength 7 with their huge swords that you can see there. Huge swords. And there's going to be 5 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sir Cratch's unit, okay. So there's going to be 5 dice at strength 7 or under. Boom, 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 boom. And they all hit. They all hit Sir Cratch's unit. So we're looking at, we'll just use this to mark. All right, so that's how many hits are coming in. That's saying how many Sir Cratch's unit can block. Once again, they're heavily armored. They have plate mail, so you're looking at a resistance of at least of 9, a 9. But they have strength value 2. Yeah, so big axes, huge swords, massive maces, or warhammers, they give a strength value 2. So I was correct. So we're looking at a strike value 2 makes a big difference. 9, we're looking at 9, 8, 7 or under. So the knight's going to make a 7 or under. 7 or under here. That's pretty formidable with them big swords, slicing and dicing. Pass, 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 pass. They made it. Sir Cratch's unit ducks and dodges. His huge blades coming in on them. And now they get the return. Now it's their turn, right? So Sir Cratch's unit, 4 knights on war horses. Now they're using their swords. Of course, they didn't charge with their lances. So we'll have Sir Cratch gets 1 die. And then we have 3 for the knights. I like to separate them like this to get used to that. It's good practice. Oh yeah, and we have the 4 war horses too. So we'll use the purple dice for the war horses. So they're all coming in. So they're usually knights are strength 5, but they're now strength 6 because they're using their swords. They also give a strike value of 1, and the horses also get strike value 1. So there's the horses, the knights, and Sir Cratch himself. Okay, Sir Cratch, what do you got? Sir Cratch of Furiandy, what are you going to do about this? Okay, let's do the war horses first. So their strength 5. So we're looking for 5s and under. So we have 2 with the war horses. Okay, 2 with the war horses. And then we're going to do the knights. So we're going to have the knights are going to be strength 6. That's going to be another 1, 2, and 1 miss. And Sir Cratch himself, he hit. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got 5 hits. So that's enough to take out the unit. However, the Gnoll Guard have a resistance of 8. So everything has strike value 1, the swords and the war horses. So their resistance is now a because the Gnoll Guard actually they're tough. They have light armor and huge swords. So we're going to give 1 to everybody. So the leader's going to take 1 too. It's because there's you have to do them. You have to dish them out evenly, and then whatever's left over you can reassign. So since there's 5 of them and there's 5 hits, they're all going to take 1. We'll do this the leader. We'll do that as the leader, and then we'll do these guys as the normal gnolls. So let's see what happens. So we're looking at resistance of 8 with strike value 1 makes the resistance of 7. They have to roll 7s or under. And they take 2 pins. Now this is a big deal because all pins count towards follow-on combat. Whoever lost, so they're going to lose. They take 2. They're going to lose 2. We'll take these guys off the back. We'll see at the end of this combat what happens. The leader ain't going to go. He's not. But they got 4 pins. That's a considerable amount. Obviously, the knights won the combat, so they got to make a break test. The defeated units must take a break test and abide by the results of the break test. Let's take a look. The no Packmaster has a command of 8, but they're going to lose. That's going to drop down to minus for each pin. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. He has to roll a 4 or under. Take a break test. 4 or under. A 9. He doesn't make it. That's not good. The unit that fails the test suffers a D6 additional pins. So he's going to suffer an additional 4 pins, and it's either going to be destroyed or routed as a consequence. So that's 4. That's going to be 8. The Gnoll only has a command of 8. The Gnoll Guard Packmaster has a command of 8. If the unit's total number of pins is equal to or more than its command value, which it is, the unit's destroyed. So Sir Cratch has destroyed this unit. They folded. They got wiped out. That's a good performance by them, by Sir Cratch's unit. Pretty good. And they didn't even use honor points to do it. They do have a pin on them from the Shifting Sands, but still, that's not a big deal. And they can consolidate. And what they're going to do is they can consolidate now. Oh yeah, they still didn't act yet, so they're going to advance. They consolidate. They can still take an action this turn. So what they're going to do is they're just going to move up to here, and they're going to They're going to move outside of, let me do this. They're going to move outside of 3 inches of that vent. So when they start to run, let me see how much in advance they, since they're on horseback, they're fast 8, so they can move 8. So let's get them out of the way of that fast 8. So 3 inches, they have to be outside of 3 inches. So 3 inches of that comes out to about here. So so that comes out to about here. They want to be outside of that. So let's move these guys up here. 1. This is an advance order. They still get to go because they were charged. So they haven't used their dice. Sir Cratch's unit. And let's see, I might use a honor point to remove that pin because I don't like that pin just sort of sitting on them like that. I don't know if I can do that or not. I'm going to double check. Yeah, I can, for 1 honor point, I can remove 1 pin from any knight or hero. So I'm going to take this, I'm taking 1 pin off, or I'm taking 1 honor point off the pile, 1 honor point off the pile, and I'm going to remove this pin from Sir Cratch's unit to keep them battle ready for what's next. Okay, that's that. The die bag. See who's next. Gnolls. Okay. Well, guess what we got over here? Looky here. We have the Packmaster, and they're going to take a run order. And here they are meeting again. It's Sir Cratch's unit again. They're surprised to see him back in action from the last time they attacked them. Because I think it was the Gnoll Packmaster unit, a Gnoll Packmaster unit that attacked them the last time. That's hilarious. Sir Cratch is like, bring it on. Bring it on. However, they're pretty tough. So let's see what happens here. The Gnoll Trackers are, unfortunately, the Gnoll Trackers are within 3 inches of that, of 3 inches of this. And they have to take a run order in order to charge. And because of the geyser field, you have to make an agility test to run or charge. So, which is basically what they're doing. So we're going to put this here, and their agility, their agility is a 5. They're tough, rapid sprint. He's their woodsman, lightly armored with a chain. He's the leaders, the Gnoll Trackers, armed with a chain mace. And then you have the hyenas. They're savage, rapid sprint, but both of their agilities are a 5. So let's see if they can charge 5. 4, they are able to charge. They come busting in. They're taking their run order. They're going to survive. They're going to just go nuts on these knights. The Packmaster's in the house. So they take a run order on Sir Cratch's unit. The hyenas are savage, so they get to reroll all misses the first time the unit fights close combat during the game. So they get to reroll all their misses. So let's do this. We have, how many hyenas do we have here? Let's take a look. Let's get this a little bit more in so we can get both. Yeah. So we have 6 hyenas. So we'll give the hyenas the red dice. It's 4, 5, 6. Here's our hyenas. And the Gnoll Tracker, he only gets 1 attack. So we'll give him blue die. Now, once again, the hyenas are savage. They reroll all misses the first time the unit fights in close combat. And the Gnoll Tracker is tough. Aside from all his woodsman and his rapid sprint and that sort of thing, he's also wearing, he also has light armor. That chain mace is going to be a problem. So let's roll it up and see what we get here. Okay, this is what I rolled. So the hyenas, You can't re-roll this. This is an automatic miss. The 10s, you can't get to re-roll that. So the hyenas are strength 5. So they hit with that, miss this one. They can re-roll that, hit with that, hit with that. Strength 5. Okay, that one hits. That's their savage roll. And the Gnoll Tracker is also strength 5, and he hit. Okay, so there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. So we're going to assign these. We're going to put the Gnoll Tracker is going to put his on Sir Cratch. He doesn't like Sir Cratch. Sir Cratch of Furiandy. He does not like him at all. So we're going to put that on Sir Cratch. We'll just mark, well, that's Sir Cratch. And then we're going to put one hyena on Sir Cratch. So, wait, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to put more. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so with this on Sir Cratch, and these are on the, this would be actually 2. Let's do this. We'll do Sir Cratch. I'm sorry, Sir Cratch of Furion. He's going to take 2. 1, 2. Then we're going to have 1 on each of the knights, and then we'll put 1 on. We'll put on Sir Arnold. Will take the extra 1. So Sir Arnold will take 2, and then these guys will each take 2. So let's do this. Let's do Sir Cratch first. Okay, Sir Cratch. He's tough, so he gets to re-roll. He gets to re-roll one of these dice. But right now he needs for the Gnoll Tracker, who is armed with the chain mace. Yeah, so he's going to be 9, but he's only going to be able to get the chain mace is strike value 1. The armor bonus that he gets is only +1 max. So it'll be his Sir Cratch for this attack from the chain mace. He only gets a 7 or better, because the chain mace is an interesting weapon. It is a strike value 1, and you only get a +1 max bonus for the armor that you're wearing. So he's only going to, if instead of being a 9, his normal resistance is a 6. His armored resistance is a 9, but you only get +1, so he has to roll 7 or under. He does, so he's good on that. Now the hyena, he don't have that, so the hyena has to roll for the hyena attack. He has to roll 9 or under, and he does. So Sir Cratch is good. And then we're going to go to the 2 hyenas on Sir William of Gensel. Okay, Sir William of Gensel has 2 attacks on him. He has to roll a 9 or under. He does. Their boss today, Sir Cratch's unit, has learned from the last combat. And the other 2 knights, I'm sorry, that was Sir Arnold of the Watch. So the other 2 knights, Gensel, Sir William, and Sir Ripert are next for 2 hyenas. 2 hyenas, 9 or under. Yes, they do it. So that unit gets to fight back now. This is the same thing that happened the last time. And Sir Cratch's unit, they've earned some honor points. They have to have. So we have 4 war horses. Let's get the purple die out. There's for the war horses. And then we have 3 knights. And then we have Sir Cratch himself, which will give him, what am I giving him? A blue die. Here we go. So let's see what we got going on here. How many hits do we get? Roll up these dice. And we'll figure this all out. All right, Sir Cratch is a hit with a 4. Okay, because their accuracy 5. The war horses are, I'm sorry, strength 5, strength 6. So Cratch hits. The 4 war horses, their strength 5. That's a miss. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. And then the 3 knights, that's going to be a miss. We're looking for strength 6 or under. Yeah. So miss and a hit. Okay. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be on 5 hyenas. Yeah, let's roll a d6. Let's see, I'll roll one. If I roll one on a d6, one of the hits is going to be on the null tracker. No. So these are going to be all on the hyenas. They're trying to keep them at bay. So the hyenas are resist 7. The swords are strike value 1. They're going to be 6 or under because of the sword strike value 1. 6 or under for the hyenas. Okay. Passed. 2 hyenas go down. 2 hyenas. We'll take them from over here. 1, 2. So they're going to take 2 pins as opposed to them. They're going to take 2 pins. Now we're going to do, they lost the combat, so they need to make a since they lost the combat. 5, they're fine. Now they can decide, whoever won the combat can decide whether or not they're going to fight again. And I think they are. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to balance that out because the knights normally, because they won the combat, they usually get a +1 for winning. I'm going to take that off of them because, oh yeah, I got to put a marker on them as well. They got rid of that pin, so that's their use of. So they're going to fight another round of hand-to-hand combat exactly the same way we just did now. So, but I'm not going to give them a +1 strength bonus because they won the combat. We're not going to do that because I didn't give the, just to even it out a little bit, I didn't give the Gnolls the +1 for the charge, if I remember correctly. So Sir Cratch's unit's going to do, we have 4 war horses. We have Sir Cratch and 3 knights. We're going to do another round of combat here. The winners can decide, and they're going to. Sir Cratch is going to try to wipe out this unit too. Okay, let's do it. So Sir Cratch hit with the 6. The knights are 6 or under. That's a hit. These are 2 misses. And then the war horses are strike value of 5. We're not giving them the pluses, so that hits, and these one don't. So that's 3 more coming onto the Gnolls. We'll do that again with a 1 on a d6 if it's going to be the leader. It's not. Again, it's going to be 3 hyenas, and they're going to be, they are resist 7. So you have to roll 7 or under. Oh, strike value of 1, 6 or under. And all the hyenas made it. Okay. Now we're going to do them. We have the null tracker, and we have the four hyenas. So let's roll it up. Okay, the null tracker is going to hit. The hyenas are strength 5. miss, hit, hit, hit. So the knights have to defend. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do Sir Cratch and the 3 knights. Let's do Sir Cratch first because once again, it's a chain mace coming into play. He has their resist 9 normally, but without armor there's 6. So then he gets +1 from the bonuses, 7 or better. So this is Sir Cratch, 7 or better. 7 or under. I'm sorry, 7 or under. He's good. Sir Cratch makes it. And then the other 3 knights with hyenas have to roll 9 or under. Uh-oh. 1 knight takes it. Who's going to be? Let's see. 1 knight takes it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get the D6 out. Ignore the first pin. Nope. So here we go. 1, 2. I'm sorry. That's he's referring to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's going to be Sir Arnold, Knight of the Watch. He's going to be taken down. He's taken down. That evens things up a little bit, I think. So he goes down. It's another round of combat. The knights still won because it's based on the number of pins that were left. So the side that has the greatest number of pins, that's the overall. When we're talking about the total number of pins, it also includes any already on the unit when the fighting began. So they have to make another break test. And they are going to, even though they didn't kill anybody, they still won the second round of combat. And then after this, they have to consolidate. So we're looking at the Gnoll trackers, command 8, -2 for pins. That's 6. They have to roll 6 or under. A 3. They're good. And then both sides consolidate. The defeated unit will consolidate first. And so what they're going to do is they only move 5. So they're going to move back. They're going to consolidate. This puts them to an advance order. And they're just going to come back here. Yeah. We'll give them 2 here. Give them an advance order. If I can find it. Sir Cratch's unit's going to consolidate. And they're just going to, they're going to move up to here, reposition themselves for the next round. Here's their pin. They used that. And they still didn't go this turn. So that's that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's that. So that evened it out a little bit. That made a little bit of a difference because I didn't give them. I don't think I gave the Gnolls. I have to double check the video, but I don't think I gave the Gnolls. I don't think I gave the Gnolls their +1 for the charge. You have to remember that. Yeah, you have to remember the bookkeeping of this stuff. So, but it's no big deal. I didn't give the knights for winning their +1 for winning the combat prior. So that it evens up. And they lost the knights. That's a big deal. So we're going to put him down here. He doesn't have any effect on anything in there, but just to show that he's down. The Gnolls I'm just taking off the table because they're usually getting wiped out. All right. That's that. And now we go to the bag. I think Cratch is not. Guess what's going to happen here? So Cratch, he's strategically placed himself outside of this geyser. Sir Cratch is he's outside of this geyser by 3 inches. He's very, 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 very upset. He is going to take they're going to take a run order. Now he has to make, he has a pin on him now. So they have to make they have to take a test. So he needs to roll, he has to roll an 8 or lower, but he gets to re-roll a failed order test because they're zealous. So 8 or under. I'm sorry, that would be 7 or under because they have a pin. He gets to re-roll a failed order test though. So it's a 9. He failed that for that run. So he needs to roll a 7 or under. A 6. He makes it on the re-roll for zealous. He tells him, "Let's go. What are you doing?" He's like, for Sir Arnold. So they run up and they engage the unit on the run order. They take a run. There's their pin. They've already used that. Now this is a whole different combat because now they're charging, and they're going to pay the price. The Gnolls are going to pay the price for this. The Gnoll they press in on the Gnolls. So now we have Sir Cratch. We have 2 knights and 3 war horses instead. So, and they're using their lances now because they charged. So let's see what we got. This can actually take out the unit. So Sir Cratch is a 6. He hits. The 2 knights both missed. Oh no, they get +1 because they charged. So they have to roll 7s or under. 7 or under. They still missed. Okay. And then the horses have to roll a 6 or under. So 1 horse hit and Sir Cratch hit. Okay. Now you have to roll. Well, I'm going to roll a d6 to see if Cratch hit the leader, the pack, the Gnoll tracker, or not. On a 1, nope, he missed. He tried, but he hit a hyena instead. The hyenas are strength 5. The hyenas are resist 7, but because they're using lances, it's a +3, 7, 6, 5, 4. They have to roll 4 under. And no. So they lose 2 more hyenas, come off the table. That's going to be 2 more pins. And you know what that triggers? 2 more pins. Triggers another. That's 4. That's going to trigger another break test. And the Gnoll trackers are command 8, -4. You have to roll a 4 or under. You have to roll a 4 or under, or they're going to take a d6 number of pins. Can you see that? I don't think so. Let me do this. Now you can. So the Gnoll trackers have to roll a 4 or under because they're normal. The Gnoll tracker leader, the Gnoll tracker has a command of 8. The hyenas have a command of 5, but the Gnoll tracker has a command of 8 -4 for the pins. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4 under. No. So they're going to take d6 pins. 5 more pins. Guess what? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to, and they only have a command of 8. They did it again. They broke that unit. That unit broke, fled the field, gone, or it is destroyed, whatever you want to call it. But they are no longer in. Sir Cratch makes up for the loss of Sir Arnold of the Knight of the Watch and has decimated this unit off of the table. They are gone. And Sir Cratch will consolidate, and what he's going to do, I'm gonna move him back here for now, and then Sir Cratch's unit's gonna consolidate to just outside of 3 inches of the, uh, just outside of 3 inches of the geyser. So keep him out of range of some of them. So let's see what we got here. Looking at about right here. So we're going to back them up right about here. Keep them outside of 3, so when they charge, they're not going to be penalized in any way. And then give them an advance order for their consolidation. And that's that. All right, and then I'm going to pause everything for a minute here, get everything charged back up again, and then come back in with drawing of the next unit. Okay, so going back to the bag for the next unit. Got everything charged up, ready to go. Who's up next?
Ready
Knights.
to serve, my lord.
The Shiled Lands Knights. Let's take a look and see what we have here. Let's see, we got Sergeant Otha. Who do we have here? Guilford already went, Sir Cratch's unit went. I think we're going to move Sir Gerlig's unit up. Let's take a look and see here. I think we're going to go with Sir Gerlig. Well, for starters, the first thing we're going to do is we have to roll a d6 for shifting ash. So let's take a quick look here. Take a shifting ash check first. I got to roll d6. Don't want a 1. A 1. Somebody gets a pin. I have to choose a unit to get a pin. Okay, so they got slammed again, the Shiled Lands Knights, with this ash drift hazard. So who am I going to give it to? Let's give it to Father Buziel has a way of dealing with that. So we'll give him the pin for the ash drift hazard this turn. Sorry, Father. And then we're going to go back over here to the Sir Gerlig's unit. We are going to take them off of this. Let's see. They're not within 3 inches of this geyser, so they're outside of 3. So they can run for 10, and they can sprint for 15. And that won't get them where they need to go. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to run up Now I think what we're going to do, we're going to go over here to the archers. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to shoot their bows. They're going to take a fire order. Let me see how close they are, though. They're going to try to shoot at that catapult. Let's see here, 30 inches. Well, within 30 inches, yeah. So they're at long range. because with their longbows, they're 10 inches, under 10 inches is short range. So yeah, they're going to take a fire order. Now we have to see if they make that roll or not, because they have a pin from the shifting ash, so they need to make it roll. Yeoman has Sergeant Huff has a command of 8. They have a pin, so that takes them down to a 7. So they roll 7s or under. There's nobody else around to help them, so they need a 7 under to take this order. A 9, they don't. So a unit that fails an order test removes 1 pin and then makes a down action rather than the order given. So they're going to go down. They're exhausted from climbing up there and still setting up. So they remove a pin and they go down. They're going to end their turn with the down order. They don't automatically return their order dice to the bag. At the end phase, instead of a recovery test is taken for each down order die. If they pass it, you can remove a pin if it has any and return the die to the order bag. If it fails, the unit that fails the recovery test removes 1 pin if it has any, and the down order is left in place. The unit remains down for the following turn and must test to recover again. So yeah, that's not good. They went down. They exhausted themselves climbing up there and setting up. So that was a wasted opportunity for them, for the knights. So now we're going to go to the bag. Let's see here. Knights again.
Ready to serve, my lord.
Okay, let's take a look-see. We're going to continue over there because they don't like that siege engine. And let's move this here, get a little bit of a better view. And Sergeant Otha's unit has no pins, but once again, we get a roll D6 for the shifting sands. We don't want to get another one. The knights are getting crushed by the shifting ash. A 6, they're fine. No problems. These guys are going to sprint, so they're going to run. And I'm going to move them first. Okay, they're going to sprint for 15. So we're going to do this. Let's just do this. They are not by. And they're going to be outside of 3 inches of that. So whenever they charge next turn, they won't be affected. So we're just going to do this. Okay. We'll give them a run order. They pass that. That scoots them off on their way towards that nasty catapult that's glaring down at them. They've been ordered to take it out before it's too late. So here's the final setup for them. We got Sergeant Otha's unit had moved up 15 inches. They did a sprint order. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to remember to make because they sprinted, they have to see if they exhausted themselves. And we need to make a agility test. Sergeant Otha's spearman, and the agility is a 5, so they have to roll a 5 or under. They do not, so they take a pin. They exhausted themselves moving through that ash, man. This ash is really playing a wicked, really playing into the favor of the Gnolls. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So they took a pin from sprinting through the ash, but they're going to be within charge range of the catapult. Now, I'm not sure. I think the catapult has a minimum range. I'll double check it. But I think they're close enough where they won't be crushed by it. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. We're going back to the bag. This time we got another knights. Another knights. It's not so great with the knights doing this stuff. It's sometimes you don't want to go first. They're down. They ran. Let me see. Let me see. I think what we're going to do. Let me turn this. Yeah, I think we're going to go with Father Obuziel. Now, Father Obuziel took that pin. They took a pin for the Ash Wastes. It's over here, their pin. I think we're going to go with them. Let's see what I'm going to do with them first. Once again, Ash Wastes. Do not want to roll 1, or somebody's getting a pin. A 2. They just made it. Okay, they don't get a pin for. They don't get a pin for the special environmental rule, Ash Drift Hazard. So that's good. Then Father Obuziel is going to. He has to take an order, but I'm going to see. I got honor points here I might use and see if I can take that pin off of him. Okay, they're not a knight unit, nor is he considered a hero. So Father Obuziel's unit cannot remove a pin. Use a honor point for that. So that's something to know. He's going to take. Okay, he's going to take his run order. But first he has to pass, since he has a pin, he has to roll a command test. So for him, Father Obuziel's command is a 9. So that shouldn't be a problem. Who's taking his run order if he passes his test. So he has to roll a 9 or under, or he has to roll an 8 or under because he has a pin. A 6. So he loses this pin. He can take his run order without going down. And he's going to move 10 inches up. So we're going to go. He had to go right to here. And his 2 supplicants will come up behind him. They took a run order. Father Obuziel. Now he passed his test. Let's see if he's within range to cast something. Right, the Bolt of Righteous Steel, with as a casting target of 7, range 20. So let's see here if I can get. I think he's within 20 of quite a few things here. So I think what we're going to do, yeah, he's definitely within 20. He's going to cast a Righteous Bolt on the Stone Thrower. So we'll get this down here. He has to roll a 7 or under. He does not want to roll a 10 here in order to cast this. And with a flash of silvery blue force, manifests itself into a spear, and it's hurled by Heronius' judgment for a 7 or under. A 4. That's going to be a hit. Well, what it does is the effect is it inflicts one auto hit at D3 plus magic level, which is D3 plus 1 because Father Abuziel is level 1. That's going to be a strike value of 4. So let's see here. The Gnoll Stone Thrower their resistance is 7. With a strike value of 4 is going to take them down to strike value of 3 or under. So the Stone Thrower needs to roll 3 or under, or they take an auto hit, 1 hit. So they roll 3 or under. They do. They make it. Wow, they rolled a 1. Amazing. They don't take a hit. They don't, or they made their save, but they don't take a model. But they do take a hit and they take a pin. They do take a pin. So they take a pin because that was what's an auto hit. They didn't lose anybody, but they take a pin. But they have to make a break test because they just got this this bolt of righteous steel flying over at them, spectral steel spear flying over in their faces, just flew over their heads and just missed them. So they're freaked out a little bit. So they have to make an order test. And their command 8 for the Null Stone Thrower, but because they took a pin from that, they're down to a 7 or under. An 8. They failed it. So, what does that mean? The unit suffers D6 additional pins. So let's see what we got here. Oh my, 6 additional pins. Oh, I think Father Abusiel just freaked them out. So that's 7 pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus the 1 makes it 7. They are totally freaked out. They have the Null Stone Thrower has a command of 8, and they're at 7. So they're 1 away from fleeing the field. That's not good. So they didn't destroy the unit. It's either destroyed or routed. So it's routed. Give the routed unit a run order and take their die from the bag if it hasn't been drawn yet. And it's going to make a run order. It's routed. So that unit's routed. The Stone Thrower is like Father Buziel flashes over their heads with this righteous spear of some sort, completely blows their minds, and they become routed. And they're going to take a run order. That's not good because they're pretty close to the edge, and they're slow 3, so they're going to move back 6. But he did what he needed to do, and we're going to move them back 6 inches. They're slow 3. They're going to take a routed order. Here, let me bring the camera over here so you can see as I move them. Keep everything legit as best that I can. I forget stuff too, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But you know. So we're gonna go get them in view here. And there they are, and they're real close to the table edge. So unless somebody rallies them, they're gonna have some issues here. So we're gonna move them. They're slow 3, so they're gonna move 6 back. Let's just move the trebuchet back. We're gonna go. Yeah. So let's just do this. It's going to go straight back. They're pulling back. They're out. I'm measuring from the base of this. You could probably go from the stone throw itself. I know you use this whenever you're doing the ranges of where it would be if it was standing up here. So we're just going to, for the movement though, we're going to move this back 6. I keep bumping it. So we're going to give it about here. So the stone thrower itself, let's get him out of there. They are completely freaked out. They move back here. They turn tail, and they're like, nah. Okay, I got to be within outside of an inch of this unit, so let's do that. They're like, no, I don't think so. We ain't going to be playing this game. We're not going to be dealing with this spiritual assassination on us with magical spears flying over our heads. So they're one pin away from just being completely destroyed. They take a routed thing. Oh, and I take their die out of the bag. I got to give them a run order. They didn't go. Let's give them a run order here next to that. That comes out of the bag. Okay. Going back to the bag here. Let's see what we got. Let's go back to the bag. Next order die is Gnolls. That's good of them on this side of the table. Okay. All right. The Gnoll stone thrower is out of the thing. I'm gonna double check something real quick. Okay, we have to do the Asterisk hazard check for the Gnolls. We're gonna check that. Let's see what we got here. We'll put it out here. A 6, they pass, no problem. There's none of the Gnolls in the ashes. Asterisk is going to be affected. Let's take a look at what we got here, though. We got quite a number of here. So let's go with, let's see. I think what we're going to do is we're going to sprint this. We're going to run this warrior unit right into Earl Guilford's retinue. So these guys don't have a pin. They take the order without a problem, not to mention they're real close to Pack Lord Varric. But they are going to sprint. They're 5, they could sprint 10. So if I can get one, yes, definitely going to be within range. They're going to take a run order. They're going to charge into this unit. There they are. And here they go. And, it's smart to do this on the Gnolls' part. They learned from the last time because they take away those lances of the knights and don't give them the opportunity to run. Let me find that unit real quick. That Gnoll unit. Yep. So they have swords. They're strength 1 and strike value 1. So they're normally strength 5. They're now strength 6. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of them in that unit. So let's get my big die tray out here. And we'll go over to this side. Let me see if I can get everything in the picture here. Maybe. Let's see here. Try to give a good visual of it. Okay. Let's turn it this way, Mike. Okay, there we go. So, of course, the Gnoll pack leader has tough, but that only applies whenever he's getting beat up. So we got 6 using swords. They're also lightly armored, but for this particular case, it doesn't matter because they're attacking. That'll come into play on the re-attack. So here we go. We got 6 dice coming in on the knights. Gnoll warriors are strength 5 plus 1 for the swords. They're strength 6 +1 for the charge. They're going to be strength 7. So they went from 5 to 6 for the swords, and then 7 for the charge. So they need 7s or under. That's pretty formidable. 1, 7 or under. 2, 3, 4. That's an automatic miss. There can't be nothing done about it. So they come in and hit for 4. All right. 4 hits inbound on Earl Guilford's unit. And they already used an honor point this turn, so they can't do anything really with that. Everybody in the unit has heavy armor, so their resist 9. But the swords have a strike value of 1, so their resist will be 8 instead for this unit. So 8. I have 4 hits, so everybody's going to take 1. Let's put this one for Earl Guilford because he gets to do the reroll. So we're looking at their armor is 9, the resist is 9 with their armor, but because they got there's a strike value 1 with the swords, they're now down to 8s, 8 or under. All right, here we go. Earl Guilford, 8s and under. Earl Guilford, 8 or under. All the other knights make it, but Guilford rolled a 9, so he's tough 2. Which means he can re-roll a failed resist test. He could roll 2 separate fails. In this case, he only has to roll 1. Here we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, he fails that. He takes a wound. He's wound 2. All right, I'm going to mark this down. So now he has a wound. Earl Guilford was wounded. He was wounded. I'm going to mark this as wounded. Red for that. And then he takes a pin for that. That's like as if a guy went down. And this is an irremovable pin, unless he's healed, unless like Abuziel heals him somehow, but he'll take a pin for that. So he's going to take a pin for that loss. Okay? So he's going to take a pin for losing that wound. Now, of course, they get to fight back, and they'll see if they can win this combat or not. So let's take a look here. We're going to have Guilford. So yeah, Guilford took a hit. All the other knights were good. He took a wound. He took a pin for that wound. Okay, that's the pin to represent that wound. So we're going to go with Guilford he's 3 hand-to-hand. So let me grab his dice. 3 hand-to-hand. We got 4 war horses, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have 3 knights. So here's the herd coming back. This is the 3 knights. Is going to be the red dice. War horses are going to be the purple dice, 4 of them, and 3 knights. Now, because they're using swords, they are strength 6, and the war horses are strength 5. Okay, let's roll. Let's see what they get. See if they can do some serious damage. They need to. So we're going to go with the war horses first. They need 5s or under. No, no, no. So 1 war horse hit. And then the knights are 5, strength 5, +1 for the swords. They're strength 6. 6 or under for the knights. Yes, yes, yes. And then Earl Guilford is also a 6 or under, and he hit twice. So here we go. Now, this Gnoll warrior unit is resist 8 with their light armor. Because they normally resist 7, but they resist 8 because they have light armor. But they're going to be -1 for the strike value of the swords and -1 for the war horses trampling them. So they're going to be down to a 7. They have to roll 7 or under. 7 or under on this. Okay, passed, passed, passed. So they're going to take 3 casualties because 9 double 9s and an 8. So they're going to take 3 casualties. They're going to take 3 pins. And guess what? They lost that combat. So let's get these guys off the table first. Okay. And now we're going to take an order test. They're going to take 3 pins. They lost the combat because the Gnolls have 3 pins and the Earl Guilford's unit has 2 pins. So now they need to take a break. Well, yeah, let's see here. They were defeated in hand-to-hand combat. War units with the Gnoll Packmaster who's still alive. Oh yeah, let's see if the Packmaster was 1. It's a 1 in. I roll 1 in 6 to see if it was the Packmaster that went down. No. Okay, so 1 in 6 chance that he went down, but he didn't. He's not one of the casualties. So we are going to do. They are command 8 -3. They have to roll 5. They have to roll 5 or under for their break test. They rolled a 9. They failed. They're going to take D6 pins. They're going to take another pin. Now they are going to be routed as well. Okay, so we're going to pull their order die. And guess what? They're moving. They're going to run. Oh, their order die is already out. They're going to move 10 straight back towards their table edge. So they're going to come all the way back to here where they were at. Let's move their pins over to here. They're routed. They take a run order. Okay. And I think the winning unit gets to consolidate. And I think what they're going to do is, yeah, they get to consolidate 5. So I'm thinking maybe these guys will consolidate. Yeah, I'm going to move him off the table real quick. We'll note that we have to roll for him, of course. So, but they're going to consolidate 5, and they took a little bit of damage there. So they're going to come, but they can still get that, but that'll put them in long range. So they're going to come back 5. Let's see here. I'm sorry, 5 is going to come back to here. Yeah, that's right. So these guys are to come back, consolidate back this way. They move this to an advance order now. We switch that to advance. These guys took a run order. Right. So they still have that. Yeah, he still has a +1 in his that group because of the Knight special rule advantage of momentum. They get +1 to their the morale for Guilford's unit. Well, it's not called morale. It's that +1 to morale would basically mean they get +1 in their command. It's basically what it would be. So they consolidate back, taking some damage there. Earl Guilford, that's a pin that won't go away unless he's healed. So we are going back to the bag and see what we got.
Ready
Knights.
to serve, my lord.
Okay, who's doing what? What knight units haven't gone? Let's go over here and take a look and move my whole situation over to here again. Let's take a look here. Also, I just had read for break tests. So the an artillery unit that takes a break test is always destroyed if the test has failed. Artillery units can still be obliged to test due to missile casualties or because of some special rule or attack, which is what Father Abuzio's spell was. They had to rule that. They had to take a break test immediately with his spell. And it failed its break test, so it is gone. So before we do anything with this knight die, I'm going to move these casualties off the table for now. But I'm going to go over and take that Gnoll Stone Thrower off the table because they failed the break test. They're gone. It's an automatic. See you later. Sayonara. Adios. Bye-bye. So we'll remember that for next time. So they're not routed, but they are simply gone. So we're looking at already in turn 2. The Gnolls have lost 1, 2, 3, 4. They're real close to losing 5 units. So that's a big deal. Once again, if they go over, they started with 10. So yeah, they have 6 units left. So if they lose another one, there might be an issue. We'll have to double take a look at the objectives and the rules. But at any rate, yes. Yeah, so any artillery unit that fails a break test is gone off the table. I just read that. I'm glad I caught that, so I don't have to edit it and put in more writing. Forgive me for not catching that. I'm learning the rules. I'm going back to this game, so a lot of this stuff, and I complicated it for myself by adding new environmental stuff and everything else on top of what I'm already doing. So it's a little complicated, but I'm keeping it even. I try to keep it even. I want to make sure I have an untainted game for the most part. So let's take a look here. What happens though, you know? So I got a knight unit I got to move up. Sergeant Oliver is going to stay. Let me see. Can you see the knights? Let me put it this way. Maybe we can just scan right down the whole. Yeah, that's good. So we have a couple units way on the other side, but all of our units going to stay in reserve. Let me just pick it up here. All of ours going to stay in reserve. Gossett's unit, he can move up and give some support because there's going to be a big fight in the middle here. Because you know Guilford wants to kill Varric. He doesn't want to leave him alive again this time. He does have a routed unit, so Varric's probably going to try to route that or try to get that unit, bring that unit back into the fold, into the fight. So he may use that. With the archers up there have already took a fire order. Let's see, what do I got over here? I'm a little bit worried about Imor and Sir Cratch's unit. So I think what we're going to do on this side is before we do anything, of course, we're going to roll for our shifting ash roll for the knights, which this has been beating them up the entire game. This has been taking a toll on the knights, man, big time. So we put that up here. Roll d6. Don't want a 1 for the knights. A 2. They barely made it again. Yes. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to give the Yeoman Odo's archers in advance order. Let me see. I'm going to do this. We're going to give Odo's archers in advance order. Now they have to pass. Odo has to pass a command test because they got a pin, so they're going to have to pass. Let's see. They are command 8 with, well, as long as Yeoman Odo's in the fold, he is amongst the unit. Yeoman Odo is a command of 8, -1 for the pin, makes them a 7 or better, 7 or under. An 8. Oh man, are you kidding me? Is there anybody within command range? I don't believe it. No, nope, because they're over there. There's nobody else within command range. Let's see what I can do for them. So let's see if they have anything else. No, they have Deadeye and they have Tough. And Odo has Tough. But let's see. Do I have any special knight rules? Honor points. They're not a knight unit. So they're not going to be able to. Let's see what it says. Nope, it's only pertains to knight heroes and leaders. Yeah. So it looks like they're going to go down. They try to get up on the hill. They try to get up here to do something. And no, it's not happening. So I looked if I missed something, but I don't think I did. They're going to take a down order. And they're going to remove a pin. That's what happens whenever they fail an order test. They would have had to made an agility test anyway to get up on top of here. So that's a big deal for them. But it's once again, they need to recover from this. They're just stumbling up out of the ash. They're carrying their arrows. Try to imagine them coming up onto that filthy, ash-covered mountain. They're trying to come up there with their bows. They're trying to get everything set up. They're climbing up through the ash on the sharp rocks, volcanic rocks, that sort of thing, and just ain't going. It's moving. It's going very slow. So, and ain't nobody there to help them, to encourage them. So we're going back to the bag. I think almost all my knight units are gone. Let's see what we get. Knights again. Okay. Well, while we're on this side, we're going to, now you know what? We're going to get Gossip units up. We're going to run them up. I don't want to sprint. I don't want to sprint them. But before we do that, once again, we're back to the D6 for the ash drifts. Don't want a 1. We get a 1. Okay, so who's going to get it this time? Who's going to get the pin this time? Let's see. Who do we want to give it to? We'll give it to Huff's unit. Huff will take the pin. This ash is just treacherous for these guys. Let's see what we got. We're going to move Gossett's unit up. They're going to sprint up. They can't. Can they sprint? I'm not sure if they can sprint because they got heavy armor on. Let's take a look. That's going to be Gossett's unit. Here he is. Sir Gossett of East Fork. Where have you gone? All right, I got him. So they are heavily laden. They can't sprint, so they can only run, which is what I thought. But they don't have a pin, so they're going to run. They're going to run 10. And they might have a problem here next turn, though, because they're going to be within 3 inches of the ash cloud. Look out. It's treacherous up here, fellas. It's treacherous. So we're looking at, we'll give them that. Let's go. The max they're going to be able to go out to is about here. Okay, so we're going to move them up. 1, 2. They're going to be right next to this vent. Sir Gossett, watch that vent, buddy. Watch that vent. They take a run order. Okay. Back to the bag. Yeah, the Gnolls, Pack Lord Varric's going to have to rally that Gnoll unit, or they're going to be in trouble. They'll be down half. All right, the Gnolls. So yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what we got going on here. I think what we're going to do is, instead of doing that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here with this. There's nobody on the center objective, which is a big deal. But they'll be able to move units up. And they're going to go, that's right, I got to get, the Knights are going to recover this relic up on top of here. The relic that they've taken from the village. This is a secondary objective for them. An important relic was taken with them when they fled and were being chased by the Knights. So we're going to get this, we're going to advance this Gnoll archer unit up and see if we can get a shot onto the Knights as they advance up there. But once again, before we do that, we need to roll for the ash drifts for these fellows. So let's take a look here. They take a 1. Okay, so a unit in the ash has to take a pin. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to give it to this unit over here. This archer unit over here. They're going to be up here. They're going to get a pin for the ash wastes. Okay. Keeping track of the pins, especially when they're getting waylaid in such a way. So with their failures on these is crazy. Okay, let's take a look here. So their agility 5. Yeah, so an agility test is taken when a unit attempts to move into an area of rough terrain or it begins its movement in rough terrain. So they're going to do a run order. They're not going to be able to shoot this turn. So the Gnolls are going to take a run order to get up there, because if they fail this, they're only going to be able to. If they fail this test, they're only going to be able to move 5 instead of 10. But that'll get them up there to shoot next round. So let's take a look. Their agility 5. So you have to roll 5 or under. A 6. So they can only move half of their movement, which will get them out to this edge to shoot. Yeah, so 5 inches. 5 inches from where, yeah, that's fine from where they were at. That's good. So they're going to take that run order. But of course, they failed that. It took half their movement away but they were able to get up there. That's what they wanted to accomplish. So that's a good thing. All right, that's that Gnoll unit. Let's get the bag. Gnolls. I think we're going to go with Pack Lord Varric's. Pack Lord Varric is going to do I think he's going to try to rally that unit so they don't run off the table. So let me drop this back so we can see what he's up to. And I think he's going to take a rally order. And you don't have to take a order test, but I also have to roll, before we do that, for the ash drifts for the Gnolls. They take another pin. Somebody's going to take another pin. All right, well, we'll give it to the archers up here. The archers up here will take the pin. The ash is starting to cause trouble for them too. And you can say that they exhausted themselves climbing up on this basalt ridge. They took that pin, fighting through all that. Just like the archers are having a go at it. Let me tell you, boy, they're having a rough time. So anyway, we're going to go with a rally order. When a unit makes a rally action, then each and any friendly routing unit within 10 inches can also roll a d6 and remove a number of pins indicated before making a command test to determine if it halts its route. So, okay, so we have to see if he passes his rally. They have to see if Pack Lord Varric passes his rally, his command of 8. Okay, so he's going to take his command 8. So he's command 8. He has no pins. So he passes that. Now, because of that, these guys can, because they're within, he has command, friendlies within 10 can use the model's command stat to take command-based tests. But what they're going to do is they're going to automatically, when a unit makes a rally action, then each and any friendly routing unit within 10 can also roll a d6 and remove any that number of pins before making command test. So they're going to roll a d6 for that Gnoll unit. Oh, they're only going to remove 1 pin. They're going to take an order test. And they're going to be able to use Pack Lord Varric's because he has command. And anybody within 10 inches can use his command, which is an 8. But they're going to be 8, 7, 6, 5. They have to roll 5 or under to be unrouted. A 3, so they're not routed anymore. They're going to take this as a rally action. They're no longer routed. They lost a pin. Okay, that's going to be Pack Lord Varric's. Might have saved the day by not having that unit run off the table, because that would have ended in a bad way. We only have a few dice left, so who do we got here?
Ready
Knights.
to serve, my lord.
Let's take a look over here. I'll put this camera right here because I think what we're going to do is start bringing up. I really didn't want to. Everything on this side of the table, on that side of the table is done. So like everybody over here, as you can see, they all have orders already taken for them. So we're going to stick with we have 3 knight units left. And those guys are over here, hiding out behind this steam vent. We are going to move. I think what we're going to do here is, well, of course, we're going to roll d6 for the ash clouds, or for the ash drift hazard roll. So what we'll do, get this back out, and get me my d6, which I conveniently put back. No, they're good. We don't have to worry about that. And we're going to move these guys up. I think we're going to give them, they're all heavily laden, so they're just going to take a run order. They're outside of 3 inches. So we'll give these guys a run order. They can move 10. So let's move them 10, shall we? So we'll go 10 to here, 10 inches, 10 inches, 10 inches, 10 inches. And they can't sprint. Sir Gerlig's unit moves up. They took a run order. Alrighty then. Going back to the bag with the run order. Let's see what we got here. Gnolls. Well, let's see here. Look at here. We got Immor, the Desecrator. All right. Guess what he's going to do? He's got fireball spell. About what Imor wants to do with this fireball of his. He sees the knights. He sees Sir Gerlig's unit coming up on him. Oh, before we do that, once again, got to roll for the ash drift. Anybody else taking pins? No. It's good. So I have to give him an order first of some sort. I'm going to give him an advance order, I think. So he's going to move up just a hair. These guys are going to go out into the front. He takes an advance order, which he passes automatically, and then he's going to try to... So you have to give them an order first, whether it's whatever order you want to give them, but they have to take the order, because if in case they have to take a test. If they fail the test, they would go down. And then he's going to cast fiery balls, and that has a casting value of 9. So it's within 20 inches, easily within range of the Sir Gerlig's Knights. It's a magic missile, basically. He's magic level 1. He has to roll a 9 or under. He does, no problem. And it's a D3 plus his magic level, which is 1. That's going to be 3 hits of strike value 1, which is fire, which gives it's a fire attack, which gets an extra pin if it's hit. So they're going to take 2 pins. So if there's 1 for the hit, 1 for it being fire, and there's going to be 3 hits coming in with strike value 1. So strike value 1, let's see. So once again, they are resist 8. Sir Gerlig's resist 8 with the heavy armor, but that is strike value 1. That's 3 hits. So we're going to give Gerlig's tough, so he can take. He could take 2. Well, we have to give 1 to each. So we'll give the other 3. There's 5 knights. So let's do a 1d6. If it's a 1, Gerlig has to take 1 of these. No. So we'll give it to the other 3 knights. So they're going to be resist 8 minus 1 for the fiery balls. So they resist 7. They have to roll 7s or under. Yes, they make it. They don't take any casualties, but they do take 2 pins because of the special rule of fire. Fire's never good on a battlefield for anybody, right? So it's the first time he's used that, and I can't remember. Creatures, most notably dragons, may be able to breathe fire, but this is a fire spell. If units hit by 1 or more fire attacks, either from ranged or hand-to-hand attacks, then it takes 1 extra pin over and above any pins that it would otherwise suffer. So yeah, they take their 2 pins. So that's that. But they didn't lose any casualties from the fireball, which is that's a big deal for them guys. Setting them up for next turn. Going back to the bag.
Ready to serve,
Knights.
my lord.
And I think what we're going to do is we're going to stay on this side of the table. And Ash Cloud check for my knights. Nope, they're good. I think Sergeant Rundle's going to run up. He also moves. They're heavily laden. They're knights. They were in heavy armor, so they're going to move 10. So we're going to go, let's see here, 10 inches. Roughly up to here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'll run up. Very good, Sergeant Rundle. give him his run order. Back to the wonderful bag. We have a strap. We have knights.
Ready to serve, my lord.
Yes, that's going to be Sir Olivard's unit, and he's going to run up. He's going to run up to. We're going to do the ash cloud, or sorry, the ash drift hazards for them guys. So 1d6. Nope, they're good. They don't take anything. They don't take any pins. They're going to move up 10. Well, somewhat to 10. They're going to move a little less than 10. They are going to move to back up these guys. Of course, they'll be by this, and there's always a risk that these steam vents go off and cause all kind of trouble. They took a run order. But the Knights have rebounded, and the Gnolls have taken quite a few pins and some unfortunate rolls. And I go to the die bag. I think there's only one left in here. And there it is. It's going to be this Gnoll unit here, right on this side of this. Now, here's the deal. They're right by the vents. So I think what they're going to do, let's take a look and see this Gnoll unit here. I got a roll for them and the ash drifts. Nope, they're good. They're unaffected. And I think what they're going to do, they're right by the geyser field, so they're within 3 inches of that geyser field, so they have to make an agility test to run or charge. And their agility is not that great. I think what they're going to do, not to risk another combat, I think they're just going to advance out of that steam vent, realizing that there's a problem here. So we're going to put the nearest unit up to here. We'll give them their advance order. So we'll move these guys up to here. They're going to move outside of 3 inches of this steam vent, so they don't get whacked with taking a penalty. But that sets them up for next turn, and they have no pins. So there's a nice unit right here with their axes and such. So, okay. I think that will conclude turn 2. The Gnolls have lost quite a few units. Okay, they made a few mistakes here and there, but overall, I think we balanced it out. We made some changes. So the Gnolls, this is the Gnolls' losses. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Gnolls. We've lost 2 Knights. Earl Guilford himself took a wound. He's down to he's a little bit in trouble, right? The archery units are struggling. We have a couple. Oh yeah, we have to do the checks. So anything with a down order. So let me take a look of what we have with things that are down. We have to do that now too. So before we pick up dice. Well, you know what? We'll do that at the beginning of turn 3 when we pick up dice. So for now, we'll just take a quick look at the units. We got Inmore cast a fireball. They advanced. Rundle's moving up. Sergeant Rundle's unit. Sir Jerlig's unit moved up. They're not heavily armored. They could have went a little bit further. I'm not sure if they're heavily armored. I have to double check. The Knights are, though. Odo took a down order. They couldn't get up that hill. They're slipping, sliding all over the place. We got Cratch's unit lost a knight. We have Sergeant Olivard in reserve by the steam vent. We got Earl Guilford fighting his life away. Father Buziel was successful in all he had to do. He missed, but he cast a righteous bolt over the head of the stone thrower and scared him off the field. Sir Gosset's moving up. Sir Otha's moving up. And over here we have another archery unit having a real hard time with the basalt uh, rocks, mountainous areas here. They took it down order too. So the archers are struggling moving around in this environment. The Gnolls, however, are doing okay. We have 2 Gnoll units up on top of the basalt ridges. Pack Lord Varric didn't do what he wanted to do. He wanted to advance up to there to get that uh, to get this objective covered. He instead rallied this unit so they wouldn't go down with losing more than at least half of their units. They have not made it over here to do the ritual, and the knights have not made it over here to recover this very important relic to return to the church. Okay, that's it. We pick up round 3, and we'll go through when we pick up dice for any non-units. We'll make our rules for them, and it looks like there's only two knight units. Yeah, we have Odo's archers and Huff's archers have taken down are both down. So we have to roll for them to see if they're able to recover their dice. Yeah, they're having a hard time, but that's it for now. I'll see you in the beginning of round 3. Sorry for any mistakes that I might have made. I try to make up for them. I go through when I'm editing, and I'll put some words in there if in fact I messed anything up additionally. But for the most part, we will see you at the beginning of round 3 to see how this ends. Maybe make it to 4. We'll see. We'll see if the Gnolls can rally.